Welcome to Coffee with Karl, where thoughtful conversation meets strong coffee. I'm your host, Karl Meneghella, coming to you from PSBU Buddhist University here in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. This show is about ideas, big and small. Ideas to get you thinking. Good morning, Mr. Bradley. How are you?
I'm very good. Thanks, Karl. Thanks for having me.
A pleasure. Today I believe we're talking about time management.
That's my topic.
A very, very important topic it is indeed. Could I ask you, what is your vision or your view about time?
My perspective about time is life.
Oh, okay. Please elaborate.
How do you measure life? You measure life on time. Mm-hmm. It's a space that we talk about. So it's the greatest gift in that context. So I look at time, every time it ticks, your life ticks. And it is finite.
Yes, absolutely finite. Yes.
And then if you don't understand that, you are going to miss out on life, not miss out on time.
Yeah.
So to me, it's the greatest gift any human being can have, and mostly unused or misused.
It's interesting that no matter how rich you are, you only have 60 seconds in a minute,
Absolutely.
60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day. You can't buy more.
Absolutely.
You can be a trillionaire.
Yeah.
You cannot buy 25 hours in a day. Or you can be poor and you still have 24 hours. So I think you're right. It has to be used to make the maximum benefit of that.
See, you rightly said that the time, no matter your status in the society, it's equally given to you. But what people who progress have is what they have done with the time that is available, and what they have not done with the time that is available. That's the difference.
I think sometimes when we're young, we don't realize how valuable time is. Yeah. And I know for me, I'm nearer the end than the beginning, and you start to realize that time is incredibly valuable. And I remember one time thinking to myself, there's a mathematical relationship that, when you are 10 years old, 1 year is 10% of your life.
Absolutely.
It's a big chunk of time. But when you're 20, 1 year is only 5% of your life.
Correct.
Right? So when you're 50, it's only 2% of your life. So the years are becoming, I believe, shorter. There's still 365 days, but it becomes in the blink of an eye. Last week I was 40, this week I'm 66. And where did it go?
Yeah.
So I think, very, very important.
So look at the year. I mean, you just remember celebrating the new year. We are almost 5 months done.
Yes, the years, yes, exactly right. Almost 50% over.
It's gone, and then you look back, oh my God, what have I done with this? I mean, 5 months, you're talking about 150 days into multiply by seconds.
Yep.
What have you done?
I think sometimes youth is wasted on the young.
Absolutely. And then, Karl, the distraction that is bestowed upon people today, more on youth than on adults, is the biggest killer.
So, I know there are a lot of time management theories out there. There's Pomodoro, there's Eisenhower, there's many, many theories. Do you have a theory of either what to do or what not to do?
Yeah, I might have a counterpoint to that.
A counterpoint?
Yeah.
Please share.
I think the concept of time management is a myth.
A myth?
Yeah, because you can't manage time. Because it ticks equally to everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's marching on now, regardless.
So what really we do is managing our tasks. We think managing time. No, you can't manage time. So how do you actually, so if you look for a definition, you said allocating time for work, but I would say allocating work for time.
Okay.
Which work is important for you, and you allocate the best part of your time for that work. So that's what the misconception about time management is, more about task management. So when you come to task management, then comes into what's important, what's urgent, what Eisenhower talked about. How do you allocate time for that?
So are you saying then that I look at what tasks I need to do and look at the most efficient way of doing those within the finite parameters of time?
Absolutely.
So rather than saying I want to try and control time, I'm going to control my use of time by tackling tasks in an organized way.
Yes, allocating time for tasks
yes.
is what we do. You can't allocate tasks for time.
I like this. Yeah.
In reality, that's what happens, and this is where we go wrong. And the biggest mistake we make is to say, oh, there is time.
There is time. Yes, yes.
And then a week later, oh my God, I didn't have time.
Yeah.
Right.
So in there somewhere is procrastination.
Oh,
right? And I find myself, I used to hate mornings. And I end up really getting up late, and I was always in a rush and always disorganized. And I changed my behavior. And now I actually relish mornings. I get up and the night when I go to sleep, I try and plan what is tomorrow. I love having lists, for example. Yeah. So I like to have lists of things that I want to accomplish. And in these, I enjoy the fact I've got this done.
Yeah.
It feeds my sense of intrinsic motivation. And now I enjoy mornings. So I think it's about a behavior change. But I know some people struggle, especially students, with procrastination. Yeah. Do you have any solutions for them?
So why does procrastination happen? I mean, you said I woke up with an intent, right? So it's more than a behavior, Karl. I would say it's a discipline. It's a mental discipline that you have bestowed upon you, which drives your behavior. So behavior is an outcome of discipline.
Hang on, let me get this right. So you're saying having the discipline to actually enact a behavior becomes a habit.
Exactly.
So it starts with having some discipline, sense of purpose.
That's right.
To then create behaviors.
That becomes a habit.
And they become habitual. Yes, okay.
This is what you have done. You said you're showing me a list of things that I want to do because you are ahead of the curve. Because when you wake up, you're already ready to look at what you need to do. Obviously, you look at what is important, what is urgent, and then you see what we need to do. So, again, a counterpoint to this, Karl. Whenever I talk to children about to-do lists, particularly managers, let's come to procrastination. Why do people procrastinate? Primarily because they believe there is time. Right? And then, okay, I can do it later. And then you don't know what else will pop up and stack up. And then suddenly you are overwhelmed and you don't know what to do. You're so stressed up. So do it now should be the principle, I mean the 2-minute principle that we talk about in time management. If it only takes 2 minutes, for God's sake, do it now. Right? You don't realize those 2 minutes will add up to hours.
Yes, yes.
Right? So then you try to postpone what is important at the cost of doing something that is urgent.
And meanwhile, while you might have that task in the future to do, other interruptions are coming in.
Exactly.
And you think, I was going to do it there next Thursday, but other things come in where at the last minute you then have all this panic, all this drama because it's due tomorrow. And unfortunately today, other things have impacted.
Exactly.
Okay.
So in my personal career, I mean, this is the message I want to give to the students as well and even to young executives. I've always been ahead. If my manager tells me, can I have this report by Wednesday morning, I would put it on his table on Thursday afternoon. So career-wise, you're ahead. So your brand in the organization, because if you want something urgent done, Bradley's name comes up.
Yes.
So you create a brand of someone who does things ahead of time. And that's what companies want.
So you become the brand.
Exactly.
The go-to man.
Go-to man. If something that needs to get done fast, look around, hey, this guy.
Yeah. I like that. And I think this is a really valuable thing for you in the audience, is that you are a brand.
Absolutely.
Your name, by definition, is who you are. So when you think of Nike or Coca-Cola or any company, that's their name. So you have a name, and if you can make yourself a brand, a guy who delivers, a girl who delivers, a person who can be relied upon, then you'll find yourself being offered more opportunities than if you are always late or behind. I think there's a principle here also is under-promise, over-deliver.
Over-deliver. Beat the expectation. Now you expect to deliver the report on Wednesday morning, but then you beat it and say, okay, here's your report Thursday evening.
Yep.
Because you talked about brands, Karl. Brands have attributes. So personal brand, doing it fast and ahead of time is an attribute, which you said is something that you got to inculcate.
Yes, yes.
And build in. Right. So you talked about to-do lists. People often ask me, okay, you write books, you teach, you manage your family, you work. How do you find time? I said, I don't have any extra time. If somebody said, oh, did you have a long day? I wish I had.
Yes, yes. I understand.
I had 24 hours. Yeah. But how do you manage that? So what I did when I was overwhelmed, I looked at the list and, what is it I should not be doing in this? So I do a not to do list.
Okay.
So you delegate, which is part of time management skill.
Yes, yes.
So, okay, why am I doing this? Is this important for my progress? No. So, okay, can I give it to Mr. X?
Yep.
So that way you space up time.
So that's similar to the Eisenhower time management.
Absolutely.
And it had the things which are not urgent but important, things that could be delegated and things that just aren't important at all. And Eisenhower, I believe, would actually get rid of the things that could be delegated. So things, the trivial things, delegate those. The things that are urgent and important become the priority.
Absolutely.
They're urgent, it has to be done, and it's important.
Do it now.
Yep, I like that.
That's the approach. So see, in careers, you need to progress. So you got to identify what is important for the company and for you.
Yes.
And then do that first. So I had a manager. He's a deputy general manager. Was responsible for 120 branches.
Okay,
Right.
so a big
In the bank,
organization.
big
Yes,
organization,
yep.
right. So whenever you go to his room, his table is clean. I mean, bankers, it's very difficult to find a clean table. So I said, how do you keep it clean? No, he said something that I practice still. He said, in my first 2 hours, I take the most difficult papers to read. So that by the time I'm tired, I tick off the others.
Yes, yes.
But what do? We come into the office, we take the easy ones first. And then by 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the evening, you're tired and you hold back, procrastinate that big file.
And those big important ones.
Important
takes
ones.
energy, yes.
Effort, it takes, so the energy should be used. See, the discipline I have, Karl, I never read emails first thing in the morning.
Okay. Can we repeat that? Never read emails
First thing
in
in
the
the
morning.
morning.
Okay.
Because you already have an idea of what you're going to do.
Yes.
You open the email, this goes out of the window.
Even worse, people open the email, then they see the banners for YouTube and they see little rabbit trails of other things to look at, and they start doing that, and next thing they know, an hour and a half is gone.
This is gone.
Yep.
So I always read emails around 10:30 so that I have the first 2 hours to focus on what I plan to do. And if we write this, we come, open the email, boof, it's gone out.
So there's a tip for you out there, is starting your morning with a sense of having a sense of purpose for the day, correct? Maybe the night before thinking, I need to do this.
Yeah.
And that becomes your focus in the morning. And then you can start looking at the minutiae, the trivial stuff of that day.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So the moment you open the email, your day is planned by somebody else.
Yes, yep. And you're reacting rather than acting.
So,
yes.
so your list that you plan to do goes to the back bench.
Yes.
And then it stacks up. Then you get overwhelmed. So don't allow someone else to program your day.
So in other words, I open my computer, I start my task, I'm in control.
Yeah.
If I open my computer and I start looking at the emails,
You're gone.
other people, third parties, are dictating my day.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
So that takes your time.
Yes.
What happened to your plan?
Yep. Oh, my plan is disintegrated.
Absolutely.
I
So
like
those are things that the behaviors that I have inculcated to how do we manage time. No, how do we manage tasks?
Yes. Yeah. I like that, and that puts a new twist on it, task management. And I like the idea of sense of priority, but I especially enjoy the idea of waking up and having time to give to my task that I know has to be done.
Yeah.
Then I can start looking at what are some other inputs coming
Absolutely.
in. Okay.
And
Very
then
good.
be truthful, be loyal to the list that you made. You put a lot of time thinking and you do this list and you identify what's important. And be loyal to the effort that you put in when you come into work. Right. And the biggest piece, I was actually listening to Robin Sharma, he was talking about the busiest people will always have time.
Yes, yes.
Because
if
they know
if
how
you want
to-
something done, ask a busy person. Yep.
They get it done. But others are busy being busy.
Sorry, could you elaborate on busy being busy?
Busy. I mean, you have so much of distraction. See, the concept of multitask, I have a different view. It's you cannot multitask. A lot of people say, I can multitask. At interviews, they say, I'm a multitasker. I wouldn't hire that person. I want someone who can focus, deep focus, on a task that is given to them. So the reason why people get distracted is because they think, okay, I can do that, this and the other at the same time. You can't.
Yes.
You can't. Because we are not wired that way. So you need to give 110% to what is in front of you. And the distractions, how many alerts do you get on your phone? Ideal way to focus is to put your phone on silent.
Yes, yeah.
Right, so that
Exactly.
otherwise, the moment it tings, and gone. You just take the ISO. How does accidents happen? You take the ISO of the road for a few seconds.
Can we take a little rabbit trail, a little segue there? I find it, the phone in particular, this is probably one of the worst inventions, and one of the best, but one of the worst things, because it seems to be now it overrides human interaction.
Yeah.
If I'm, say, the customer service and you come in and you're waiting for something, and then the phone rings, I start answering the phone,
Yeah.
You were waiting in line, and I start on the phone and you've been forgotten. And I think we need to be able to say, hang on, you're first, and if that rings out, if it's important, I'll call back, but I'm dealing with you.
Yeah.
And that can be an incredible distraction.
Absolutely.
And I think the other thing is that not just the phone, because people are not using the phone just for a phone, they're using it as a games platform, as a social chat platform. And I know that when people say, come to work at 9 o'clock, a lot of people come to work, and they come to work to have their breakfast, and they come to work to check their emails, and they come to work to check their phone. They haven't come to work at 9 o'clock to work. And to me, it's, if you want to start work at 9 o'clock, you get there at 8:30, you know, you've done your, go to the bathroom and have your breakfast and have your cup of coffee, and at 9 o'clock you're ready to start work. So you're maximising that work time to actually do the tasks.
Excellent point. I used to, whenever I speak to chief executives in companies, I ask the very same question. If you look at your school life, let's say your school starts at 7:30. School starts at 7:30. The teacher's in the class. You start work at 7:30.
Yes.
What happened to the discipline when you come to work? Your letter of appointment says 8 to 5. Your timetable says 7:30 to 1:30. 7:30 you start.
Yes.
Letter of appointment says 8 to 5. You come at 8:15.
Yeah.
You have breakfast. You chit chat, and you start at 9. So what happened to that discipline you had in school? When you mature, where is your discipline? Because you are being paid for that time.
And that's a very old-fashioned concept, discipline. Very old-fashioned. My brother is a consultant, and I know that he said in the consulting firms, a lot of the people they have as consultants are ex-military.
Yeah.
Because the ex-military have kept discipline not only through school, they've actually worked in discipline.
Absolutely.
They've worked in a disciplined environment, and they become very good consultants. And we had a situation with a state minister, Mark McGowan, who's ex-Navy,
Right.
and he was very good at project management.
Right.
Because in the Navy he was taught discipline.
Yeah.
I think it's very important. It's a very old-fashioned value, but from what you're saying, very crucial in time management, having a sense of personal discipline, having a sense of, I need to do this, and I will do this. And maybe, like the Nike or Nike logo, the just do it.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to embrace that idea of stop whinging, stop whining about it, stop complaining, and just do it.
Right. So, good example. Now, Singapore, the state sector works. Why? Lee Kuan Yew put all the ex-military generals in charge of all the state sector.
Yes, yes.
So that discipline, the getting things done, discipline, came into the state sector. It's one of the most efficient state sectors in the world.
Didn't he have, like the Minister for Health came from a health industry,
sector, so
the Minister for Transport came from transportation.
Who understands the core.
Exactly.
But all those guys were in the army. The medical segment of the army, the transport segment of the army.
I see.
You have the entire network in the army.
So that explains part of the reason for Singapore's incredible exponential growth as a
And
regional
how the
and
state
international
machinery
hub.
helped that growth.
Yes, so
Right.
yes, it's been a massive growth, because of that discipline.
Discipline.
In Australia,
And you said something about the phone. It's a good invention. Badly used.
yes,
We
yeah,
always use
misused.
good child, badly brought up.
I like it. In Australia, for example, in America as well, positions are often given to the cronies, the friends of the person in power. And I've long thought that the Minister for Health should be someone who has health industry experience, like an ER nurse, for example, or a trauma doctor, who can understand health, who is trained in health. The Minister for Transport, a train driver or a bus driver, The Minister for Urban Development should be an architect.
Absolutely.
Or a city planner, rather than just people who get the popular vote. And maybe making it where it's a job people apply for.
I'm fully with
They have
you.
to apply in a competitive environment.
Yeah. So, this is something that in my country, Sri Lanka, I have also, it's fascinating to see how the thoughts are aligned. I said the same thing. I said the ministers must apply for the job, give him their credentials.
Yes.
And then they should be set KPIs, including the
Could you
guys
explain KPIs, the key
key
performance?
performance indicators.
Yes.
You have to have, because you are spending public money. So what is the return on the money? So, end of the day, everything comes down to how do you manage your task.
So some of our audience may not understand KPIs. Would you mind to give a little explanation?
KPI is, in any organization, the organization invests in you when you are hired. When you are elected or when you are appointed as a minister, the tax money is invested upon you.
Yes.
So there has to be return on that investment, and the state or a company will indicate these are your key performance indicator. Take a university, right? You have to perform.
Yes.
So the indicator of the lecturer's performance is how the students perform in the exams.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
So that's what you mean by indicator. So if you see, Karl, what gets measured gets done. Right. If you don't have measurement criteria, even for your task management or time management, you're going to fail. Right.
Yes, absolutely.
So we are looking at the connection between available limited resources.
Yes.
And how do we produce results within that limited time?
So some vocabulary for the audience. We had ROI, return on investment, KPIs, key performance indicators. And what Mr. Bradley has shared with us is that a company, for example, not just a ministry, but a company, they don't just pay you a salary. They train you. They house you. You might have an office space. You might have a company car. You might have a company credit card. You'll have training. You'll go to workshops. You'll go to conferences. That's all investment by the company. In exchange for that investment, they're expecting performance.
Yeah.
And the performance, they will dictate, we expect these things to be met.
Yeah.
And that's your key performance indicator, or KPI. For the company, that's what they call an ROI, the return on investment. And these are really important to help give you the language of corporations, especially when you leave university. And then what Mr. Bradley's saying, I think, which is really important, is the people who can manage their tasks effectively and efficiently will be able to do the better performance, which means they get the better positions, more opportunity.
Absolutely. Even this conversation, Karl, people are going to listen to us, which means they're investing time.
Yes. Yep.
So what is the return on that invested time if we don't create content that they can understand and apply in their life?
Exactly.
So very simply put, that's what it is. Everything, see, in life, everything is a trade-off.
Yes.
So what is a trade-off? Trade-off means you do one thing at the cost of another. So if you take a task, right, if you choose task A against task B, the cost of not doing this should be less than cost of not doing this. Everything has a cost. So in life, life is trade-off. If I sit here at the cost of sitting somewhere else.
Yes. Yep.
So we got to understand that. So that is where your prioritization comes. That is where your procrastination comes, because you are trading off your current time towards an uncertain future time.
We have both made trade-offs. For example, I could be with my wife in Bangkok.
Absolutely.
I'm here.
Yeah.
You could be with your children in Sri Lanka. You are here. Hopefully being here is, for this instant of time, very valuable, and we still bank on the other things like families or whatever in the future. So tomorrow, for example. But I think that's really important, that you can't do everything, and you're going to, if you take this, you lose that. So you've got to be very careful in your decision making, because every decision you make, there's a cost and a potential advantage. It's not saying, oh, if I had have done that, this would happen, because we don't know what would have happened.
Exactly.
I like it.
So this leads to Eisenhower's framework of urgent and important, because you're trading off what is important to something urgent, because you didn't do it when it should have been done.
Yes, yeah. Going back to the just do it.
Just do it. The 2-minute rule says just do it. Because in life, I'm going back and saying the greatest gift one would get is life itself.
Yes.
What is life? Time span. Everyone has a time span, which is ticking. And we should not be sitting on the deathbed and regretting, oh, I should have done that, I should have done this. Why didn't you? Because you traded off good things for not so good things.
This makes me think about New Year's resolutions.
Oh,
and on January 1, people join gymnasiums. They make these promises. They say, this year I'm going to do this, or this year I'm going to do that. And I think when they fail, they say, oh, next year I'll start.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to say, today is the first day of the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Today I start, because it'll be over. Yeah. And as you said, time is ticking away.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
We can't stop it. And so we need to be making this our time.
So, if today is my first day, then you have one perspective. Another perspective, what if it's your last day?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, new resolutions come and go, new years come and go, resolutions come and go. I mean, they just diminish in the first 2 months.
Yes.
Right? And you say, I'll do it, because we believe we have time.
Well, I think this is very important. We believe we're immortal because we make plans for next week or next year with no guarantee that we'll be here next week or next year. So the important thing is to do it now, because one day, tomorrow will not be here. Hopefully that's far away, but one day, tomorrow will not be here for me and for you and for everyone else.
250,000 people don't wake up.
Yeah. Sorry, again?
250,000 people
Don't wake up. Yeah.
And they went in the hope of waking up.
Yes. Yep. They went to sleep with plans for tomorrow.
Yeah. And tomorrow never came.
Yep. If nothing else, I hope that this little series or this session today has given you a sense of the importance of time, your ability to manage the task, to maximize your time, and I think hopefully some takeaways that you can use not just at university but in the future. Mr. Bradley, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
I hope the task was useful.
Thank you. Thank you for the task.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And to our viewers, thank you for watching. Think big, stay curious, and don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. I'm Karl Meneghella, and this has been Coffee with Karl. Until our next episode, keep learning. Thank you.